Sugar is sweet, white, processed, and too much of it can ruin your metabolism. That's what sugar is. And pretty much everyone adds it to their coffee. But there's a different thing you can add to your coffee that is animal-based, fat-based, salty, natural. It does the complete opposite of what sugar does. I put little cubes of fat in my coffee every morning, and I lost 100 pounds, got abs, and went down to as low as 5% body fat, which is actually too low. And I did this at 50, and lab tests say I'm at least 10 years younger than my current age. And after I've tried every diet and written a major one that sold more than 1 million copies, after trying an experience as a vegan that was destructive, training 90 minutes a day for 18 months with no results, I still weighed 300 pounds, I still had a 46-inch waist. One sip of a drink with animal-based fat at 18,000 feet in Tibet flipped everything. The fat melted off when I ate more food and I worked out way less. Your brain loves glucose. When you eat a lot of sugar, you get a dopamine rush, which triggers your brain's reward system. Your body evolved to seek out energy-dense foods because calories were once scarce. The problem is that when you eat a high sugar food, you get a quick blood sugar spike, and then shortly after, you crash. And that crash leads to low energy and brain fog and more cravings. So then you go binge on more sugar. Sugar burns fast, leaves you empty. It puts you on an energy roller coaster throughout the day. So you're constantly spiking, crashing, spiking, crashing. Your body doesn't just love sugar though. Your body also loves fat because fat contains a lot of calories and your brain loves calories, so it can think. However, what happens when you eat good fats is completely different than what happens when you eat sugar. Instead of a quick blood glucose spike and crash, you get steady energy and little to no spike. Your energy lasts for a long time and you feel satisfied for a long time. This keeps you from going back to the pantry to snack every 30 minutes. And I discovered this firsthand in one of the most unlikely places in the world. I was at Mount Kailash, the holiest mountain in the world, 18,300 feet, sitting in a guest house, frozen by core. And I still had about 30 pounds to lose despite trying every diet. A tiny Tibetan woman hands me a cup of tea, creamy, thick, golden, and with a little bit of animal fat floating in it, yak butter tea. This was pure energy. It was salty, it was creamy, it was fatty, and it was exactly what my body was craving, even though I didn't know it. I took one sip, and 30 seconds later, my brain just started tingling. My entire body lit up in a way I could not understand. My brain hadn't worked as well as I wanted for years. And at high altitude, you shouldn't be feeling like you can snap awake, but I did. The exhaustion that I was feeling from basically mountaineering completely broke, and for the first time in years, I felt a spark. I got home and I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I started experimenting. I swapped yak butter tea for regular butter. It didn't work. And then for grass-fed butter, and it really did work. And that's the kind of fuel your body wants. When I dialed it in, everything changed. It crushed my cravings. I felt energized all day, and I didn't want to eat because I was finally feeding my brain properly, and my body started burning fat. The breakthrough was simple. I stopped avoiding fat and started eating fat cubes every morning. I put grass-fed butter in my coffee, now Danger Coffee. I added MCT oil, which is a coconut-based fat that helps you burn even more fat. And what happened was miraculous. I stopped living at a gym. I started eating more food, not less. I stopped being vegan. I added meat back in, ate even more fat, and my fat just melted off. I finally lost all of those 100 pounds after working on it for over a decade. And I called this concoction Bulletproof Coffee, but the secret was the fat, the opposite of everything people think about weight loss. And something crazy happened. I started sharing it online. Put fat in your coffee, and within months, CEOs in Silicon Valley started using little cubes of butter. Vogue started writing about it. Celebrities started swearing about it on national TV. Jimmy Fallon and Shailene Woodley were talking about it.
Spoon of butter, then a tablespoon of coconut oil. I'm not kidding. Put it in a blender. Pour it out. It looks like you just poured cream in your coffee and there's a little froth on top. It tastes pretty good.
I didn't even know them. I didn't pay them. They just started doing it and talking about it because it works. Within a few years, millions of people across 60 countries were using little cubes of butter in their coffee. A global shortage of grass-fed butter got so severe that authorities arrested a Norwegian man for trying to smuggle butter into Sweden. I wrote a book that the New York Times bestseller list, launched a podcast with over 500 million downloads about nutrition and longevity. That cup with little bits of fat in it changed everything. It proved What your body actually needs isn't what you think. And today, I don't do Bulletproof anymore. I do Danger Coffee, but I still put butter and MCT in it. And most people don't have access to yak butter, right? They don't have time to trek to Tibet to get it, but you could already access this pure fat that burns stored fat instead of storing it. Fat cubes are just grass-fed butter cut into little cubes and a tablespoon of MCT oil blended into coffee. MCT oil is a coconut-based fat in liquid form. Doesn't taste like coconut, but makes you burn fat and have energy. So 1 little cube of butter plus 1 tablespoon of MCT oil in your coffee every morning. That's it. Trains your body to burn stored fat instead of running on glucose spikes. And people have lost millions of pounds of weight doing this over the last 10 years. You'll have no hunger for 4 to 5 hours and steady energy all day long. It doesn't require any willpower. Here's why fat does the opposite of sugar. Sugar, or glucose, will spike your insulin, it'll crash your energy, and it can lead to fat storage, and that makes you hungry faster. Fat doesn't spike insulin at all. It delivers steady energy, burns fat, and keeps you full for hours. MCT oil is a special type of fat that bypasses traditional digestion. It goes straight to your liver, turns into ketones, which are pure brain fuel. Grass-fed butter contains butyrate, CLA, and fat-soluble vitamins, and those help your body burn fat and reduce inflammation. So together, they flip your metabolism from glucose burning to fat burning mode, and your body finally accesses stored fat because it has permission. You're not in starvation mode anymore. When you give your body fat instead of sugar, your energy goes up, your hunger goes down, weight falls off, and you have no cravings. Your brain runs better because your brain's mostly fat, needs fat-based fuel, and your focus lasts longer. You don't get that 3 p.m. crash. Your body burns that stored fat because it's running on clean fuel. But here's how to use it. In the morning, blend Danger Coffee plus 1 fat cube, which is just grass-fed butter, and 1 tablespoon of MCT oil. No sugar, no carbs. Keeps your body in fat-burning mode. You have your first meal at lunch, second meal at dinner, no grazing required, no hunger. It's totally effortless and your brain will work all day. Fat cubes cost pennies. Sugar's everywhere and keeps you fat. Fat burns the fat that sugar stored. You already have access. Nobody told you fat is what your body actually wants. So try it tomorrow morning. 1 cube of grass-fed butter, 1 tablespoon of C8 MCT oil, blend it into your coffee and see what happens.